Hello. Just checking the mic. Sounding okay? Hopefully. Okay. Well, thank you. Our weather has been characteristically Midwest. Very starts to get warm, then it ices everything, then in the same day everything thaws back out again. The rest of this week is supposed to be warm but rainy for a couple days, so that kind of sucks. I had to look it up because I was thinking about streaming Future Tactics. It came out, it didn't come out. It was planned for the Gizmondo. I always wanted a Gizmondo. PlayStation 2. Chances of it being backward compatible. Or PS2 classics. Nope. Sure didn't. Chances of it being Xbox One backward compatible. Not likely. It had a PC release, but not Steam or anything. This game was really cool. It's got alcohol references, though. Forget it. Mild language. I'm only into spicy language. Did it actually come out on GameCube? I guess it did. I own it on Xbox? I own a copy. Oh, I might actually own it on GameCube. Wow. Where is my collection at? No, that's okay. I'm gonna look and see if I could make the chat not so far behind, although. I don't know if you can turn down the delay or not. Future Tactics. I own it on Xbox. It is sealed. I paid $5. At EB Games, May 26, 2005. Wish this game had more music in it. I think I have a decent streaming setup ready for console stuff. I forgot that if I used Twitch Studio, I'd have to have a screen capture source of the Elgato software of what's on the console, but my audio with the mic would be like twice delayed. By the time you heard what I said, the gameplay would be like 8 seconds behind. And I'm behind on the chat. It would just be kind of a mess, and I'll bet screen capturing the Elgato window would not run very well. So I cut out the middleman. I built kind of the same look layout in Elgato software. I only have the physical, the little stream box behind the TV that's up here. I don't have a computer. I have a laptop, so I can't put in a Elgato capture card, which apparently Twitch Studio would allow me to feed directly into it. And I think it's lower latency than the USB boxes are anyways. Okay, yeah. Nightmare is a good word for it. So I had fun building all of these layouts, and I had to spend part of last week trying to rebuild it in Elgato software. I think it works okay. I forgot all about the Streamlabs and Twitch alerts and all that stuff, and to set all those up again. That was kind of fun. It looks pretty good. I think chat will stay on this. Actually, right now it will be more reliable than the Twitch Studio, which likes to reset the size of the chat every time I close and open the program. Okay, let's go ahead and take it over here to our browser window, which is bigger now. And let's start little background stuff. That Environmental Station Alpha soundtrack again. It's just good background music. All right, let's get this started. What's up, Tuesday? What's up, Tuesday? I had to thank you. Thanks for checking everything. I will mute myself if I have to holler. After 2 weeks, the very first 2 weeks of this show being on Wednesday, and Wednesday is turning into like total busy work nightmares, I decided to move this to Tuesday. So here we are on What's Up Tuesday. Same stuff though. We're just going to take a look at things that have happened on the site and in delisted news land over the last week. So let's get started with a twofer. Sony has made 2 moves in the last week or two. The first of which is they are no longer selling or renting movie and TV show content on any PlayStation platform. It launched in 2010. 2010. It's been 11 years that you could buy and rent stuff on the PlayStation Video service. On PlayStation 3, on Sony Bravia TVs, on Android and iOS devices, Sony tablets, and I think a few other places. So if you've ever bought anything, actually, you know what? Have any of you ever bought anything on PlayStation Video? I think I got the free episodes of Powers. I think there was some superhero show. I forget if it was Powers or if it was a different one. And they originally released their like PlayStation update videos called Core with a Q through PlayStation Video, I think. I think that's all that I own in my account, and they were all free. So I'm not at a loss, but I'm sure there are some people, some PlayStation fans, that went pretty all in on this video service, especially since it was a pretty early one, that are maybe going to lose out. So if you own anything, now would be a good time. Well, before August 31st would be a good time to at least download it to a console. Pearl. Sorry, I had to lean over there so I could see the chat. Yeah, okay, it was Powers. That's funny. I never watched it, but they said it was free, and I claimed it. I said, wow, that's a really cool thing. I own part of a TV. I don't know if it's any good, but... anyways, they are shutting down, blaming it on people just liking to stream stuff too much. So... PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. Yeah, I guess, yeah, there is a media tab on the PlayStation 5, so they'll probably patch it out too. Which, if I had said everything else up to this point, would have been a good segue into story number 2. Just give this another minute here. I think that's really about the biggest news, like all the news about it. August 31st, they're shutting down the PlayStation Video service. Also shutting down, beginning in April, the PlayStation 4 Communities feature. They just announced this, I think Sunday night. I got an email from Sony saying, basically, thank you for using the Communities feature on your PlayStation 4. Beginning in April, this feature will no longer be supported or available. However, you can message people. Basically what they said. They said, you know what? Tell all your PlayStation friends to get on Twitter and can post illicit content over there instead of on our platform. I never really used the Communities feature, so I kind of blew it off at first, but I looked into it a little bit more and did not remember that they shut down the Communities app. There were dedicated mobile apps to post and reply and access the communities. They shut that down in last June, I think. And then they also, in November, around console launch fervor, I totally missed that they updated the PlayStation 5 and took communities out of that platform. So I don't know if it's a very recent decision to just shut it all down. I don't know if there's a problem with it on PlayStation 5. I definitely didn't hear if it ran poorly or if there were errors, if they weren't able to moderate it or something. But they apparently patched that out pretty quickly. Yeah, I think I used a community. I'm still in a community for Metal Gear Survive, and I never actually got in there and chatted with people. It was just a bunch of kids that were playing it. I think they liked sending screenshots back and forth. I just kind of stuck with the actual game, but that's just me. But apparently, a lot of people use the communities, and hopefully they got the email too, so they can coordinate before it gets shut down and try and meet up on, I don't know, other platforms. Like I said in here, it's sort of the equivalent of a Facebook group or a subreddit or a Discord server, which, I mean, honestly, probably Sony has seen a lot of people already moving towards that, just like people are moving towards more streaming services instead of buying. But it was another feature of the console. Sony's just kind of taking features away from their consoles these days. So, if you've got movies or TV shows, or if you're into communities on PlayStation 4, save that or back it up or just enjoy it before Sony takes it all away. Next up was my little opinion piece over the weekend. There was a fire at the OVH data center in Strasbourg, which turns out is not in Germany, it's in France. I managed to catch that before I posted it. Not that it's a major point where it is. This data center housed a lot of the European servers for Rust, the naked person survival game. I've never actually played it, but I know enough about it to know I don't want to play it. But, for the people that like it, I think their servers should stay online. And that did not happen. There was a fire at this facility that you can see in this picture. It looks like some shipping containers strapped together to form this building. I'm sure it's a totally fine data center. I don't know data center design, but there was a fire, and I feel like that you never hear about a catastrophe at like a server center or a data farm, maybe around like natural disasters, but it's usually a processing center, and it's like your credit card statement's going to be late, or like payment processing for your bank is going to be slowed down for a little bit. It's very rare that I think of hearing about like just all this data being lost because this essentially one building, caught fire or ran out of power. Some underwater cable got cut and all of a sudden it went down and during a backup and lost data or something. So it was pretty crazy. And I mean, doing this delisted thing, I'm pretty aware of the, there's a good word for it. The infirmitude of our data, especially when it comes to an online service-based game. But this just really jumped out at me. Like, it's really good even before a game, before we worry about a game being shut down or delisted or developer going out of business, and does that mean their game's gonna go away? It's just a good idea to remember that at any second, it could every bit of progress you made in the game could just disappear, regardless of the standing of the company. Usually one of the cases that. And so I just kind of wrote that up real quick. It did turn out that the wording was only player progression was lost. Now, of course, that could be hundreds of hours for a player. But I was thinking their initial tweet said data would not be recovered, and I assumed that was entire private servers that people owned or leased or created on these servers. Yeah, definitely didn't need to be lost. I don't like the way that they played it down, but I was expecting something way worse, and it looks like they did spin the servers back up. I don't know what all came back up with them, if anything. But servers are back online. Last time I looked at their I'm just gonna that as it. So really, for me, just served as a reminder. Doesn't say welcome to gaming's graveyard down here for no reason, because games stick around forever. All right, close tab, please. Devotion. Speaking of something that I thought was lost forever, but it actually came back. Devotion from Red Candle Games was... Wait, sorry. Is it Devotion or Detention? It's Devotion. Very similar names. In 2019, Devotion was infamously removed from Steam because of a, let's say, unexpected piece of content that was left in it, making a I guess not a vague statement, about China's president. That got them in a lot of trouble with the Chinese government. I thought that we would never hear from Red Candle Games again, but they tried to bring it back online. They tried a couple different ways to get it back out to people. There's actually a what is it? It's an electronic that one of Harvard's branch university libraries. They apparently have a desktop setup where you can go play Devotion and Detention. And for a while, that was about the only way to play Devotion. Yeah, Stadia. I'm not looking forward to writing about that one day. But after all of the, I don't know, the uncertainty is the word I'm looking for around Red Candle Games and Devotion, they kind of came out of nowhere and announced just a few days ago that they launched their own eShop. Oh, I forgot the good old games part. Back in December, just as the furor around Cyberpunk was waning, not dying down, but people were just kind of used to it being a hot mess. And GOG said, hey, we're going to put out Devotion. And then they received, I took that quote out, many messages from gamers, I think is the wording that they used. Gamers of a certain nationality, I'm sure. And they decided not to publish it on GOG. So I'm sure this was Red Candle Games' solution to the deal that almost happened with GOG for a DRM-free version of the game. They've put it up on their own eShop, as they worded it. Let's see. Yay, it's still online. I was worried that as I was writing this up, this site was going to disappear. Right now, it says they'll also be selling their future projects here, but right now it's just the soundtracks and the games for Devotion and Detention, and then the bundles, I guess, with everything, and then each game with its soundtrack. Or you can buy them separately. So that is good to see those two back. Or, well, that one back. Yeah, they didn't. Oh, wrong tab. So, regardless of how you feel about GOG or Red Candle Game or China, I'm glad that they're able to sell it in one way or another. And then that brings us to, today's post. Wow, that was just this morning. Man. Long days. Long, fast days. There is wording. This link to it. This is the craziest wording I've ever seen in one of these. Hold on. I have to tell them I'm old. I forgot I'm in Edge and not Chrome where I'm signed in. Hey, everybody, just a notice, Square Enix has temporarily removed this title from sale to work on it. Usually this is where it says, at the request of the publisher, this boilerplate notice has been posted to tell you the game's no longer available. It's just kind of a surprise to see it say, like, temporarily work on some important updates. And what might those important updates be? Probably the consensus is removing the Games for Windows Live hooks that are still in the back end, whether it's they've run out of keys to sell to redeem through Games for Windows Live when someone buys Kanan Deadman, or that it's just code in there lingering and it's causing problems. And as it gets older and older, I'm sure it creates more conflicts with Windows and where whatever operating system it's running on. So it has been delisted from Steam since February 25th, and hopefully the not delisted too much longer. What was that one? We're coming up on 3 weeks that it's been delisted. So if it goes to a month, I guess I'll make a page for it. Oh, wait. I'm already making a page for it. Sorry. It was released on Xbox 360 as a Games on Demand. Now I can't remember if I started gathering all the data to make a page or not. No, I didn't, because that's right. Like, get through the rest of my post. It wasn't delisted on Xbox 360. It's just that sometimes, some places you find it under Kane and Lynch, and sometimes you find it under Kane ampersand Lynch. And the search engine does not like to go back and forth between those. That's right. It is still available on both platforms, so it's only delisted on Steam. I might add a page for it. Hopefully it comes back very soon. That's our headlines for the week. Close that one. Let's get into some of the new games that have come to the site. Not necessarily that they were just delisted. Although Spin Tires was delisted relatively recently on January 4th. Uvi and Saber Interactive have had a long history fighting over who owns Spin Tires and who owns what part of Spin Tires. It's really pretty crazy playing or seeing MudRunner and Spin Tires, and it's basically the same technology as far as I can tell. No one does physics and water and suspension on a vehicle like Spin Tires does. And seeing MudRunner, it's pretty obvious it's very similar, if not the exact same code, from two different publishers currently. Well, it was from two different publishers until Spin Tires was delisted on January 4th again. And it has not come back yet. That's been quite a bit longer than, yeah, it's still gone. It actually does not have a Steam store page right now, so it is gone. They've been in legal battles for a long time. I'll leave it at that. You can read a little more on the site, and then Uvi's forums, if you really want to dig into it, those guys are, the people on Uvi's forums are generally on Uvi's side. I don't know how it all shakes out necessarily, who's more in the right or the wrong, but I feel like Uvi, the people at Uvi, I forget his name, the main creator behind Spin Tires, I feel like he probably is in the right of ownership, at least, if not behavior relating to MudRunner and SnowRunner. But there's a lot of stuff that's just confidential now because it's all locked up in court stuff. Court stuff. I hate it. Love Spin Tires, though. Spin Tires and MudRunner. Still waiting on SnowRunner to go on a decent sale, which is for another couple days. Get that open in the background. So that was Spin Tires. This was another one of those listings that if I had unlimited time, if I actually made a living doing this, I would make a page for each one of these games, but it's just so much work. When these have all been delisted for some number of years, and seemingly all at the same time. This is a handful of Agitech DSi releases. It is these titles. I made a table. I didn't dig up every release date that I could find for each one, but I did denote where they were released and where they are no longer available, or where they were released on the left-hand side, where they're still available on the right-hand side. The asterisk means it's extinct. So some of these games really cannot get, legally, at least. I think they're probably in some ROM set out there, but just loading up a 3DS to try and download Paul's Shooting Adventure, sorry. Paul's Monster Adventure, not going to happen. Paul's Shooting Adventure 2, can't get it. And the reasoning up here, just airing a little bit of my frustration in this post. The company has been dormant since 2016 and likely did not meet requirements to keep their titles online across North America. These rules apparently differ across Europe. That's the best I could come up with. about why Agitex games all disappeared in North America, not in Europe. In Japan, they were handled by different publishers. So the ones that are still here are various companies. What did I do for the video? Oh, I stuck my own video in there. So that's a whole lot of handheld games. And I did manage to catch, when I did the eShop recording in 2017, they were there. And then when I updated it again in 2019, they were gone. And I'm glad that I did those separate recordings because I wasn't looking for these titles at the time that I recorded them. But now I think somebody submitted one of them or a handful of these. And then it spiraled out into all of these titles. I went back and compared my two videos, and that's where I found the window that they were delisted. And then we knew that some of Agitech's 3DS games were delisted in April or May of 2018. So I assume that when those went off, these DSi titles did also, but I didn't catch them at the time. All right, let's get a few more here. System Siege was a game that they, 56 Game Studios, announced they were going to delist, but didn't have a date in mind. They just said in a couple weeks at the time. It turns out that day was March 13th. So it was removed from sale finally on Steam. And this was one that, looking at it looks like it wanted to be an heir to Advance Wars, that style of turn-based, kind of cartoony, chibi graphics, overhead view, strategy, military strategy game. It had some interesting ideas, but it looks like it never really made it beyond the very first early access release. They never updated it. They had plans to update it, but never did. And then in this statement, we haven't been actively developing it in almost a year now. So had to make the call one way or the other, and unfortunately, for where we are right now, this seems to be the right move. So it's sad to see that finally go. I wish it could have gotten more of an update because I know a lot of people are still waiting on a good successor to Advance Wars. And then also posted this week is Air Arena Masters Edition. I didn't get to refresh myself on this, and I probably wrote it quite a while ago. So it was shut down April 25th, 2016. Cliffhanger Productions announced it on March 24th. There was a little bit of time for players to get in. This was not the other game I was thinking. The original free-to-play release of the game, Clash of Champions, was shut down in 2015 after the release of this Masters Edition. And the mobile version's also been shut down. There it is. The cost for keeping the servers active and supporting the game by far exceeded the returns. We have basically paid to keep it running out of the love and dedication to our game and our players. Being a very small studio, however, we cannot afford to do so anymore. So it's that heartbreaking situation where, you know, they'd love to keep it up for the people who love it, but can't afford it. And it just sucks. I don't know what the solution would be until leasing server space is completely free under some, grant or subsidy program or something. I don't know how you can avoid this when a game, it's a bare minimum of people who love playing it, but it doesn't justify the cost to keep it online. It's a bummer. Right now, all I can say is that's a bummer. One more bummer. Oh, not that bummer. This one, Rollers of the Realm on PlayStation 4 and Vita. this is getting longer and longer. It was delisted in later 2019 into 2020. They did manage to get it back in April. Then it was delisted again briefly in October. Made it back up October 12th as they were. This relisting was because Phantom Compass was taking over publishing rights from Atlas. They got it back up. There was apparently in this October 7th to October 12th period some kind of clerical or administrative error that took it offline again. It came back October 12th, and then between the end of 2020, sometime in December, it looks like, I think it was pretty late in December, and early January, it was delisted again, and it fortunately doesn't look like it will be coming back unless some miracle happens. Hey everyone, we've had to remove Rollers of the Realm for sale via PSN in all territories for all devices. It's possible the title will return to the PSN store someday. We'll post any news here and on our other channels. Rollers is still on Steam, so hey, don't forget it's still on Steam. Doesn't seem totally committal to getting it back online. They're currently promoting their new release. Try something. Gosh, I looked at it briefly. I forget. It's a different kind of physicsy puzzle game where this was a pinball RPG. Pretty big turn in style of game. But fortunately, it is still available on Steam. It's a pretty neat little game. I liked what I played of it. And I'm pretty sure it's PS4 that So I should probably do a video of that sometime, huh? But that, yeah, doesn't seem like it's coming back. So from one relisting, delisting to a relisting, Stubbs the Zombie is back on pretty much everything. Well, it's back on Steam and it's been relisted. Not relisted. Sorry. It's been released for the first time on Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. And GOG. It was not originally released on GOG. It is a super old Steam release. The URL for it, it's app ID 7800. So I think that means it was in among the first 10,000 things on Steam. Just looking at the URL today, it jumped out at me like, wow, that is not a 6 or 7 digit number. Like looking at people on Twitter that have like the super short handles that everybody wants to steal from them. So they announced this in February that it would be coming out, and it came out March 16th. So I updated this one today. Let's jump over here. Did our album end? Looks like it ended. Dang it, let's start it up again. Shadows of the Damned. Somebody pointed out it was delisted last June, when at the time it seemed like they were working up to something. Yeah. Did I link it here? There is a link to the cutscene and some conversation stuff in Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes, where Garcia Hotspurs, he just shows up, right? Like it seems. Thank you. Thanks. Good playlist, by the way. Says M1. Yeah, it's a good album. I forget if he shows up in the cutscene or if they are just talking about it, but they seem to really heavily hint at the time that something was going to happen with Shadows of the Damned. So I was expecting at least an HD remake to get announced, but that hasn't happened. And in the meantime, the game has fallen off of, is it even still called EA Access? What are they calling it this week? EA Play. And then there's, forget what they call their, like, their instant game collection equivalent. The playlist, I think, is what it's called. So anyway, somebody pointed out that it's no longer available on there. I updated that page. And then one last thing, I guess could have fallen under news, but it's technically a relisting and a delisting. Metro 23 just returned to Steam for free for one weekend. This past weekend, you could grab the original Steam release totally free. Apparently, as part of their 10 years of Metro celebration. Did not realize that it's already 10 years old. Still have not touched a Metro game. I do like that they used the subway emoji in their tweet. Oh no, now we're going to Twitter. So that was kind of weird. I don't know how the legality of that works. Like I guess they still own it. I guess they could keep Metro 2033, the original version, on Steam, but now that they gave it away for free, they probably wouldn't want to charge anything for it. I don't know, but that happened, and that was a weird, unexpected thing to find out about for one weekend. So I think that's all the news and updates. You guys want to look at the PlayStation Store, maybe the Xbox Store, and maybe the Switch Store. It is only 7:30. See what's new this week. Looks like most everybody's got their new games up. Of course, stuff comes out all the time now. It used to be Tuesdays and Wednesdays were when consoles updated. But now stuff just rolls out all the time. I just still look at it once a week. I popped this one open earlier. Pitter Pot. Complete Edition. I was not familiar with Pitter Pot. It looks like a little platformer game with a little pot man. Not a weed man, like an actual little pot man. That's something. Not what I was expecting from Pitter Pot. This is one I saw go by on Xbox this morning and wondered what it was. Mundawn? I see a goat head already, so you know. Obviously demonic. After learning of his grandfather's mysterious death in a fire, the protagonist travels to Mundawn for the first time since childhood. I just read it as mundane. And that's not a great place. Not a great name for your evil horror town. You will soon discover that something old and diabolical is haunting the remaining inhabitants. So, first person, Lovecraftian. Whoa. Bees. I think those are bees. Those look gigantic for bees. A cool sepia tone to it. I don't know if I could handle that for a whole game. Kind of interesting. Sports happened. Not gonna look at that. Castle of No Escape 2. Did I look at Castle of No Escape 1? I don't know. Couldn't tell you anything about it because I can't see it. Explore 6 by 6 by 6 equals 216 rooms. Not doing the math. Collapsed. I think we looked at Journey of the Broken Circle last week on Xbox. Now it's on PlayStation. Whoa. From Fun Games, so you know it's good. This is a Metroidvania-ish game with loot. Supreme Sphere is here to tell you. So what happened to the world? Okay, it's that kind of game. What is Pink Man Plus? I feel like this is going to look like N Plus because it's Pink Man Plus. Yep. Not far off. Mm-hmm. I Shogun. Rise of Emperor. LGS Productions. Name's familiar for some reason. This also has kind of a neat filter on it. Everything looks fuzzy. I don't know if that's good or not. Looks kind of like someone wanted to make Ghost of Tsushima. Didn't I say that about a game last week? Man. 2 sentences in a row start with however. There's a lot going on here. Crash 4 is out. I honestly thought that came out a while ago. Did it come out a while ago and this is the retail release? No, it is pretty new. This looks like Meat Boy, but with music notes. I'm sure it's a little more rhythmical, being named Note. Also, maybe like I get a little vibe of Impossible Game. Maybe a lot of vibe. And I think we're caught. Oh no, we got a couple more here. Yet another Arcade Archives release. I will lament again. I wish that there was a unified storefront where you could just buy Arcade Archives or something like Game Room. Very few games of this era and this type of release that I'm gonna pay $8 for. What we need is Hamster Shop. They should make their own front end. The Shoujo Battle Cyber Panic. This is where I get blocked from Twitch. Okay, it's Kicks. It's Kicks, but with anime girls that are also tanks. Right. Kinda what I expected. Chess Knights, Viking Lands. Oops. This looks like chess. This Chess 2.0. Anyway, I'm not into even seeing chess pieces. Monster Energy Supercross, you know what that's about. Smashing the Battle Ghost Soul. From Platinum Rocket, all words are capitalized. Okay. Whoa, I don't know what I'm looking at. There are abilities, there's a repair button. This woman looks gigantic compared to everything around her. Hold on, I've got to read some lore. Sealed underground area, 1 year after, incident with Kate. Amino Ellie, agent of the Special Operations Division of the Metropolitan Police Department, hailing a Republic spy. Secret nuclear research, both agents of opposing nations. Nothing in here says anything about being 9 feet tall. Neo-biocentrism. What will they find at the end of their intersecting story? Sorry, but it said interesting story. I wasn't into it, but you told me it was interesting, and now I'm going to buy it. And did I look at Star Renegades? I think Die Young was the last release. No, I did look at this. I think I said it looks rad. And then I moved on, as I'm doing now. Let's go look at the eShop. Nintendo's eShop, not Red Candle Games' eShop. Nintendo eShop, for some reason, you have to scroll to the bottom to get to the newest releases. Go figure. What is this combo? Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning just now came out on Switch. That's okay, so did Stubbs the Zombie. And later Alligator. Infectra, I feel like this is probably just... that game called Pandemic? Okay. This makes a better argument. Huh. Looks a little more like an XCOM or something. Not an XCOM. At least like a top-down strategy type game. More than a game where you grow a virus. An epidemic of an as-yet unknown virus. Plan evacuation and build fortification. Oh. Okay. That's more interesting than I thought. Good on you. Saviors of Sapphire Wings and Stranger of Sword City Revisited. Pushing the limits of the characters that can fit in the title of one release. This says buy physical only. Here is some more anime for you. Here is a first-person dungeon crawler. Got it. Lineage appeared. Oh my god, look at those characters. So many characters. Who is this? Well, yeah, it's Nis, of course. Huh. Okay. I'll leave it at that. Huh. Now, it's not quite Command and Conquer either, I was thinking of. Just something tile-based like that. Sorry, I'm so far behind on this channel. I really got to see if I can shorten that delay some. And also make chat bigger on my screen so I see it. Hey, you know what I hate more than chess? Dice games. Although this looks more like a one of those, you know, those kind of games where you move things around, like a tile puzzle almost. You have to move within the prescribed rules of the movement. Do have a soft spot for floating little isometric dioramas. Relaxing atmosphere and gorgeous soundtrack. That's Soko Dice. Everyone, I would like to take the A train. It always looks so appealing. A train has looked appealing to me for most of my life. I own one of them. I've never played it. But once again, isometric overhead city view. That's what I want. I want to adjust the width and height of the brake lights on my train. Is this the first A train where you create your own train? I could not tell you. But I'm glad that they're still doing it. And it's still Art Dink. Man, they've really got the market cornered on the A train. What is Fatum Betula? Saw that earlier, and that's some kind of image. Ah, I see. Aesthetic you're going for. And I like it. I love it. We're going to take a look at this video. Oops. Don't adjust your stream. This is the desired frame rate. Into it. What? Oh, we're about to have some feline complications in the background of this video. The sea, her color is perfect. Skeleton Man. There is a note here. Constant pain. I relate. Oh, God. Worse than the screenshot. Okay. Wow. Playable both in TV mode and handheld mode. It's now within your grasp. Yes. The PlayStation aesthetic is one of my favorites. Smash Club. I think we saw that somewhere. Alchemist Simulator. Bishojo Battle Cyber Panic is also on Switch. Off-road driving simulator, 4x4 trucks, and SUV trophy. Streets of Shmeenis. Streets of Shmeenis. Is this a Lego-based brawler? That's a lot of characters. Like the dog in the puffy jacket. Neat. Also like this aesthetic. Alchemist Simulator. 45 minutes of grinding in a mortar and pestle. That's just what I was going to say. Yep, that's what I expected. This gopher grandma is not what I expected. Bug does not contain life-death chain. I'm always saying that. I do like that these kind of... this style of game where I'm sure it's just you mixing elements has evolved from like a web game into something with like an art style and quests and a 3D world around it. But really though, off-road driving simulator, 4x4 trucks and SUV trophy, where it's at. Oh yeah, and this is spin tires. Yeah. They tried 100%. Aw. They really tried. I don't know. I'll take any caliber of an attempt at something like spin tires. Hey, they got snow too. Snow Runner also. All right, I gotta look at a little bit of this. Ugh, it looks like they also took some from Snow Runner. Let's put in... Actually, it looks like they took this from mobile. And that Jeep is really down there. Ah, gee. I can't fault them. I love an attempt at a spin tires. All right, Bloody Bunny, the game. Still stuff coming out on the 3DS eShop. Of course, it is just Bricks Pinball 6. I think Bricks Pinball 1 through 5 came out last year. Someone is keeping it going. Wow, we're really getting down there, so I'm just gonna Yeah, click through a few more of these. Did not make it to Xbox stuff. Would you all like an episode, like a weekly stream of just doing this? Because I never have time to make it through all three. Home for Christmas Collector's Edition. Get ready. It's time to find the junk. Hold on, there's a bone. Starfish count as a bone? I mean, it's not alive anymore. It's solid. I don't see the bone. I see the bone! There's the bone. You got to be careful when you release games like this. You give too much away in the screenshots. The people that are real into these games aren't going to need to buy your game. Find bells. That's like speed round. I was briefly excited about this until I looked at it earlier. Kinda, I mean, 6-player split screen, that's something. Make your own courses. That's a crazy car. The car's got like 6 spoiler wings going on here. Not coming off the ground. Multi-quiz. Hopefully at the same time. Which lake holds by far the largest volume of water in the UK? I don't know. Maybe I could buy the game and find out. Okay. The quiz game. Bob, help them. Whoa. I'll just play the video, this one. Just get on with it. You are Bob. You are Minecrafting. You're Harvest Mooning or Stardew Valleying. You help everyone. Okay, that's just anybody in any game. You fish. Complete all the tasks. You can pet the dog. Yep, obviously. Great. 3-star victory on petting the dog. Good stuff. Okay. I think I'm going to call it there and wind this thing down. There are still a few more games to look at. I think Apex Legends was the last thing we looked at. Any of this? Eh. Let's hop back over here. Well, I think we covered everything I set out to cover and more. Thank you all once again for tuning in. Hope this was interesting. Recap of the site. Look for it on the YouTube channel. Yeah, no kidding. I meant to throw that in there, but I can't right now. Yeah, not gonna open that. There's some Senran Kagura, not burst, but that's the last one I remember the name of. A Dead or Alive crossover with Senran Kagura DLC that's going away tomorrow. They didn't announce it until yesterday, so it's a very short window to get this DLC. Hey, thank you. As a Sin 2. Sorry, had to lean way over. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, all later. We'll talk later. I'll be back Sunday with some console stuff. We'll maybe just scroll through Xbox 360 or PS3 stuff, and maybe you guys can pick out something to play. And we'll jump into something. Otherwise, I'm just going to end up playing Under Defeat some more. So, thanks again.